Hey guys, another Amstrad Longplay review for you today, this time for Double Dragon. An arcade machine beat 'em up that was notorious at the time for having some of the worst home conversions to the home computers of the time. From the Amiga, Atari ST, right across to the Spectrum and Commodore 64, they were all dreadful, including the Amstrad version. But here comes the big Amstrad mystery, because two versions exist. Now, here's the first version we're taking a quick look at, which unfortunately probably would most of you would have ended up buying and playing. Note it's a binary design production there on the title screen. Now, as you can see, the graphics are nice and colourful, and the animation isn't too bad, but the game is so incredibly slow and clunky. The collision detection is dreadful, as is the frame rate, and the controls are sluggish and unresponsive. And basically they made an absolute mess of this. It's a really appalling conversion. It's quite similar to the Spectrum one actually, just with tarted up graphics. And oh yeah, dreadful sound effects, no music, and just watch the scrolling here as well. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, as I said, most of you, if you bought Double Dragon for the Amstrad, would have ended up with this version. But the real strange thing is, there's a much better version existing out there that was officially released, but it seems very hard to find out how this came to exist, and where to get it, and what to look for. So I'll spend a little bit of time researching this. And what we're just seeing here is someone taking the game you just saw there and just improving the graphics for a plus version, but they haven't improved the actual gameplay at all. Anyway, it's very rare that the Amstrad ends up having sort of two versions of a game. I mean, it did happen with the Commodore 64 at the time, because they often had American versions and European versions of games turning up. So this is quite a mystery for the Amstrad. But anyway, let's just move on and let's start up the good version. Now here's the title screen. And as you can see there, it's again, it still lists a binary design production, but the code's by Richard Applin. Now, Richard Applin's a real hero in the Amstrad circles, because he did some absolutely brilliant conversions, such as Shinobi, and some other real great original games as well. And he always managed to make the Amstrad sing. So let's get the game started up, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the mystery. And here we go. Now, first of all, just look at the speed of the thing. This is as fast as the arcade version. Everything moves really smoothly. The controls are responsive. Animation's pretty decent. I think all the moves are present, right from the kicks, flying kicks, punches, back elbows, and you can also grab hold of your opponents and knee him in the face and throw him over your shoulder. Scrolling there is nice and smooth. There's some absolutely fantastic music playing in the background there, although it starts to get a bit repetitive because it's used for the title screen and all the levels. But good music is good music. There's also some decent-ish sound effects. You've got weapons, nice little touches like that. Now, the graphics are, well, the sprites are well done and defined, some good animation, and it is very colourful, but the colours are a little bit messy. This is purely because this version's been converted from the Atari ST version and graphics, and so they haven't spent a great amount of time sort of touching up the graphics, because this was a very quick conversion actually, which I'll come back on to with the great Amstrad Double Dragon mystery. And even the bosses are correct here as well. Here's a Bobo, I believe he's called, appearing. It looks to me like the right dimensions and size, and pretty similar to the arcade look as well. The only negatives I can sort of really find so far is that when there are lots of enemies on the screen, it does tend to just slow just a touch. But it's really noticeable with the music. The music kind of slows down quite a lot. But the game is still fully playable. And enemies are pretty intelligent as well, actually. I mean, you saw that guy there. He went straight for the weapon because he knows he's likely to be able to do more damage to me with that. And as you'll notice here, they'll start ganging up on you as well. Although things are made a lot easier for yourself with weapons. Look at that, they can even pick up barrels and they bounce down the road at you. There's knives as well. And barrels and other sort of like big objects are great fun to use, because they can take out several enemies at once and cause absolute mayhem and destruction on the screen. And that's the first mission finished. Nice little bit of music there as well. And on to the second level. We've now got boxes and crates to throw, as well as sticks of dynamite. As you can see there, took out 2 guys at the same time with that crate. There's also sort of holes in the cliffs as well, which start appearing in this level. And it's great fun to basically send your enemies flying off the edge into whatever pit lies below. Hopefully, there he goes. Maybe one more hit. Whee! Hooray! You throw him over your shoulder over the edge there. Fantastic. And I'll admit, guys, actually, this is not the best run through I've done of this version. I've done much better sort of playthroughs, and I think I've done it on 1 credit before. But I've kept this version. I mean, you'll see me like basically cock up so many times, and I just find it quite funny actually to view. So this isn't really me sort of showing off my gameplay skills at the best of their abilities, but there's some spectacular cock-ups and mistakes occur in this. It made me laugh, so I've used this version. So anyway, listen, back onto the Amstrad Double Dragon mystery. I don't want to bore you for like 10 minutes at the start of the video going through it all. But anyway, I've been doing some research into why 2 versions exist of the game. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% clear exactly what's happened, but you know, we're pretty sure the situation and good educated guesses. But after digging around, I found a really good site on the internet called the Double Dragon Dojo, which did their own sort of in-depth investigation into this mystery, and it's a great website for anyone who's a Double Dragon fan. So I recommend you check the site out anyway. But also links below in the description for the relevant articles related to this Amstrad mystery. And they've managed to get in touch with programmers from Binary Design, and also Richard Applin as well. And we've been able to sort of piece things together, really. Now, obviously, the first version you saw there was the first version completed of Double Dragon, and it was absolutely terrible. And Virgin Mastertronic, who employed Binary Design at the time to do the game, were obviously absolutely fuming and told them to rewrite the game. Now, as far as I know, the Spectrum and Commodore 64 versions didn't end up getting rewritten anyway, but the Atari, SD and Amiga versions were, and they were done by Richard Applin. Now he admits himself, even with his rewrites, the Amiga and Atari SD versions weren't very good at all. However, they were used the basis of the Amstrad port, which is excellent, as you can see. Now quickly about Binary Design. Binary Design were a very respected sort of programming team and company in the mid-80s. They did a lot of fantastic original games that were big hits in the charts at the time, but they were mostly doing original products, and Virgin bought them out at the time, and basically the first project handed to them was the Double Dragon conversions. But a lot of the long-standing programmers at Binary Design were basically unhappy about doing arcade ports and conversions. They liked doing original games. So a lot of that talented programming team, they basically quit and moved on to pastures new. So Binary Design panicked and basically hired in a huge number of student programmers aged between 16 and 19, basically fresh out of uni or college or whatever. And this was, for many of them, this was their first project. Oops, completely cocked up there. And so, you know, basically they struggled. I'm sure they went on to do some really great games in their own time after this, but you know, you saw that first version, it was terrible. But it was also rushed as well in time for Christmas. Now, as I was saying, Richard Applin got handed the job of rewriting the Atari and Amiga versions, which he did an okay job on, but they weren't brilliant. I think I don't know, maybe to sort of show off or whatever, he showed them what he could do with the Amstrad version, because he was already familiar with the machine. He already had the graphics from the Atari SD version, so ported them across. Quickly did the game engine. He already knew how to make the Amstrad scroll really smoothly and have sprites move nice and fluidly and fast around the screen, which you can see in Shinobi. Probably a game I'll be doing shortly for a long play. And very quickly finished the Amstrad version. But what we've made out is that the original version had already gone on sale, or at least they'd already done duplications of the game. So we're probably at least selling off a lot of stock. So this version of the game, which is disc only and 128k in memory, is very hard to find, and we're not actually sure which which box to look for. The shot of the box art at the start of this video had Melbourne House on the logo, which confuses things even more because they were bought out by Virgin at the time. But I'm told it's the disc version with Virgin Mastertronic logo on the box art, which is likely to be this version. But I say likely, I don't want you guys going on eBay and purchasing it and finding it's the crap version. Certainly if you buy it on cassette, it will be the crap version, because the version we're playing now is 128k only, so it was only really released for disc machines, which is a 6128 at the time. So if you bought this on cassette, it would be the crap version, definitely. Even the budget re-release on the Tronics label, which was I think Virgin's budget label, that will be the crap version, trust me. I remember buying it at the time, being absolutely disgusted with it, and taking it back to the shop and get my money back. So I think that pretty much clears up the mystery as much as we can, and I've probably gone into too much detail now. I'm probably boring the arse of you guys. But hey, you know, you can turn off the sound and volume, just watch the game if you just want to see the playthrough of it. I like to try and give you guys a little bit more background and information and story on these games in my commentaries. Here we are on this level, trying to get a Bobo near that pit so we can just knock him in very quickly. Time is of the essence on this level. We're already at 3 minutes left and it ticks down rather quickly. We've still got a long way to go, so it's very easy to run out of time in this level. Yay, knocked him down the hole. lure him down, and splash into the water. Nice. Careful on this bit because you've got two guys waiting across a hole in the bridge here. And cool. Let's do a flying kick across here. And bosh! Into the water. Great fun. Just got a few more holes in the floor here to use. I'm trying to lure everyone there at the right time and the right place is a little bit tricky. But anyway, we've got a weapon here. If you manage to basically not group all the bad guys together and knock them down at the same time, you make life a lot easier for yourself, because you can time your swing of your weapon just as they're getting up and knock them straight down again, which makes things a little bit easier. But as soon as you get knocked down yourself, they'll be waiting on above you to do exactly the same thing. And as you can see, it's quite the AI and artificial intelligence is pretty good actually, because I like to sort of group around you as well. As you see, I'm finding it quite difficult to try and lure them to the edge of that hole to knock them in. And if one's attacking you, another one's on the screen, they'll go for the nearest weapon as well, while you're busy taking out the other guy. These enemies do like using weapons and boulders and oil drums and stuff at you, which makes things so much more interesting in the game. But notice we're already running out of time here. We've about a minute left. I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to do this now without running out of time. But thankfully you only lose a life if you run out of time. You don't lose like a credit or anything like that, which would be really annoying, or get sent back to the start of the level. If you know you're going to run out of time and you've only got one bit of energy left, it's best just to run around the screen and let the time run out so you don't lose a life from time running out and then very quickly lose a life again from your energy. Now with a lot of enemies on screen, without a weapon it gets a little bit tricky, so you might want to use your flying kicks but mistime them and end up just on the other side of your bad guy. Especially if if they've got a weapon, you'll get knocked down by them quite quickly. Things starting just to slow down a touch here with a lot of guys on the screen there, and that's a big sprite as well, a Bobo, especially for an 8-bit machine. But it's been fantastically programmed by Richard Applin, and in such a short amount of time as well. It's amazing what he could do on the Amstrad. Just a shame there's so little games he did. I think it was Fly Spy, his first game he'd made. Might have got the title wrong, apologies if so. But obviously he did Double Dragon and Double Dragon 2, which we'll be taking a look at next, which is just as good as this, if not better. He also did the fantastic Shinobi port, and I have a feeling he had a hand in doing eSWAT as well. But let's not mention that game because that turned out quite bad. Okay, I think we've done this mission now. Yay! And I think Richard Applin might have had a hand in Final Fight as well, potentially. Seen some places online he's been listed as the programmer on that. That had huge, gorgeous sprites. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too slow, a little bit too ambitious maybe. Some nice background graphics there. The red sky in the background there, and the trees. Now, I haven't played the arcade game all the way through to see if like all the levels are present. I believe they are. But really, for an arcade conversion, really the only negatives about the game are the colours are a little bit, slightly messy. It's occasionally a little bit of slowdown. The music, whilst it is as good as it is, gets really repetitive being used in every level. And it's not the arcade music as well, but it's still really good music, so you know, I can't complain too much. But for everything else, I can't really find any other faults really. I mean, this is a brilliant conversion. Definitely gets a 9 out of 10 in my book. Oh yeah, the only other really disappointing thing is the sort of end of the game and completion. There's not much of a sort of a completion end of game sequence or anything like that. Unfortunately, that was really disappointing. You will see later on. Damn it, I was trying to get them all to the edge of the cliff there and knock them over, but I muffed it up. Not making a very good job of things here. Ah, he knifed his own guy there. Awesome. That does happen a fair bit, especially when they're using boulders against you and stuff. They often end up knocking over their own guys, which is quite funny. I do like how the boulder bounces around the screen as well. Oops. Oh, come on, these three standard guys are really giving me a hard time here. Like I said, this isn't my best playthrough of the game. I got fed up with just using my jump kicks now. Ah, I've got my weapon. Awesome. But we may end up running out of time as well. We'll have to speed things up really. Yeah. Hopefully I'll try and bunch him up at that side of the cliff face there. Yeah. And then just swing time your swings very carefully. Oh, he's got a boulder, the bastard. Got out of the way in time. Nice, lift doors open there, more guys come out. Nice little touches that. I think we're going to do this level before time runs out. Oh shit, lost my baseball bat. That's done it, yay! Right, on to the final mission, I believe. Yep, this is the final level. You've got a fair way to go in this level, so watch out for your time. There's an awful lot of bad guys to take out, but you want to get that bat as soon as you can, and be very, very careful. There's some precarious places there. There's a very short sort of section of floor with pits you can fall down, so be careful. Some nice animation there on the flaming pots at the top there. That's a nice little touch. Now I think in the arcade original there are sort of like, I think there's like spikes that come out the walls there. That is missing in this version. But you know what, I don't care, they were just a pain in the arse in the arcade anyway. Yeah, so watch out for this area here. You've only got a short amount of floor space there. It's very easy to accidentally just fall off when you're moving down. Watch out for him, he's got a knife, but he's killed his own guy. Shit. If you do lose a life, you've got a short amount of time you're invulnerable. So you do try and use it to your advantage to knock them down and get your weapon quickly. Which I sort of failed to do there, but we're back on top of things though. Oh, shit. Resorts to the jump kick. And you don't need to move on too far at once, because the further you move on, the more bad guys might spawn against you. So by all means take your time, but remember you got time ticking away at the top of the screen there. I'd definitely make sure you still have at least one credit left when it comes to the final mission, and you should be able to do it then. Nice, took him out mid-air with a flying kick. Oh, brilliant. So why these like scrolling beat 'em ups are such great fun, if done well. I love how you can take out several guys at one time with just one move. Brilliant, makes you feel really good about yourself, well, and your gameplay and skills. So anyway, if any of you out there, any of you Amstrad owners, do have this version of Double Dragon, the 128k version, on disc, which you bought yourself, do let me know. Post a comment and let us know what the box art is and what we should be looking out for. I've only seen the disc version come up once on eBay in the last couple of years, but I wasn't tempted to go for it at the price it was offered. But it'd be nice to know, so we can clear up the mystery once and for all. It's just a real shame that most people only got to see the really crap version of this game. But thankfully, due to the wonders of emulation and stuff like that, we can all experience this now. And of course, I didn't mean any disrespect to the binary design programmers of the crap version. If you go and read the articles on the Double Dragon Dojo site, it's clear to see that you had a very, very short amount of time to do this. You're all fresh out of college or uni or whatever, and this was your first game. So, never mind guys. And of course, well done Richard Applin. If you're watching this, sir, I'd love you to get in touch and post your thoughts and see if you remember anything else about the Amstrad Double Dragon mystery. I'm sure there's many people on the scene would love to do a proper interview with you. And find out what you've been up to as well the last few years. Anyway, there's your girlfriend Marion tied up on the wall there, you got to rescue. To be fair, it's the crap version of the game, and the end sequence is her being untied and running into your arms and kissing you. Unfortunately, when we complete this, we just get a completion message, and then it results to the game over screen. And just to add insult to injury, you don't get to enter your score into the high score table for some bizarre reason. Anyway, this was pretty quickly done, as Rich has explained on the Double Dragon Dojo site, so at least Double Dragon 2 has kind of an ending. That should be my next video online. We're about to run out of time, but we've got at least a credit left. So, use our last credit, get 3 more lives. But you've got to be really careful though. You very easily lose a whole life at a time if you get knocked down once. There's a large amount of guys will gang up on you. So if you do lose a life, for a short amount of time you can't be killed, so use that to get your weapon. But anyway, here's the final boss, Big Willie. You can't get knocked down, so if you do hit him, move out of the way very quickly because your fire is good at you. Yeah, like so. His animation and movement around the screen leaves a lot to be desired, to be fair. But it's another big beefy sprite that looks pretty good. He's not actually that hard to beat. To make sure you've got a weapon to use against him. And there we go, we've done it. Mission complete. And then straight to the game over screen. Oh well. And no chance to enter your high score either. Oh dear. But anyway, that was really good. That's a 9 or 9.5 out of 10 game. It's really good fun to play, and I still come back and play this every now and again. So that's a real testament to Richard Applin and his programming skills, so well done. And thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on Double Dragon 2.